They told you it was chemistry. That mysterious, almost violent pull you feel towards a certain person. Your heart races. Your body tenses. Your mind can't stop replaying their voice, their smile, their presence. They told you it was a beautiful sign of connection, a sign of life, a sign of desire. But Carl Jung would look you in the eye and say, no, it is not chemistry. It is not magic. It is your shadow. That intense, almost obsessive attraction you feel is not about love. It is a psychological explosion, one that often reveals more about your unhealed wounds than your conscious wants. Because when you are drawn to someone so strongly that you feel powerless, that is not love. That is possession. That is projection. You are not choosing them. You are being chosen by a wound you never healed. This is the darkest truth about attraction. The person you desire the most is often the exact person sent to destroy you, not because they are evil, but because your unconscious wants to recreate your original trauma, hoping that this time you will finally win the battle you lost as a child. That is not love. That is karma. And karma is not punishment. It is repetition until you learn. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It requires brutal honesty. Before we dive into the abyss, I want you to make a confession. Go to the comments and answer this. Have you ever been drawn to someone you knew was bad for you, but you felt you couldn't stop? A simple yes or no will suffice. Let's see how many of us have been haunted by the same ghost. The ritual has begun. Now, let us name the ghost that has been pulling your strings. To understand this dangerous gravity, you must understand Jung's map of the soul. He believed that inside every one of us lives an unconscious opposite. The anima in men and the animus in women. These inner figures are not just abstract ideas. They are emotionally charged forces. They represent everything we have suppressed, denied, or never developed within ourselves. And here is the terrifying part. When you meet someone in the real world who reflects your inner anima or animus, your psyche lights up. It screams, there, that person holds everything I lack. You don't fall in love with them. You fall in love with a missing part of yourself. This is why sexual attraction often feels irrational, like a force of nature, because it is. It is the force of your own unlived life, projected onto a stranger. You may know, logically, that this person is unavailable, dangerous, manipulative, or even toxic. But the pull is stronger than logic. You feel addicted, haunted, spellbound. It's because your unconscious has mistaken them for completion. Now, imagine what this means in a world where seduction is weaponized, where people learn to mimic your deepest fantasies without even knowing it, where some instinctively learn that the way to dominate another is not through aggression, but through reflection, through becoming their unconscious desire. Because if a person has never confronted their own inner world, if they've never looked in the mirror and asked, why do I crave what I crave? Then they are not choosing. They are being chosen by their wound. And if someone knows how to play the role of that wound, whether consciously or not, they will surrender. They will call it love, but it's just projection. She isn't the one. He isn't the one. They are a mirror to your own brokenness. Here's the darkest truth about attraction. You aren't always pulled toward what's good for you. You're pulled toward what fits your inner story. And sometimes that story is a tragedy. Jung called this a repetition compulsion. You repeat old pain again and again until you finally see it. Once you become aware, the spell breaks. This is why toxic relationships are so hard to leave. Not because of love, but because of invisible strings tied to old wounds. You're not addicted to the person. You're addicted to the hurt they mirror, and the hope that this time you will heal it. We are not what happened to us. We are what we wish to become. Carl Jung. Let's make this brutally specific. Let's talk about the man who grew up with a distant, cold, and critical mother. A woman who never showed affection freely, who made him feel perpetually invisible and not good enough. As an adult, his psyche is now a heat-seeking missile for that exact emotional signature. He is not consciously chasing women who will hurt him. He is unconsciously chasing his mother's ghost, hoping to finally fix the original wound. So he finds himself drawn again and again to emotionally unavailable women. Women who are charming, exciting, dominant, but cold, detached, often cruel. The woman who withdraws love and gives it only when he chases her makes him feel alive. Why? Because the unconscious says, there it is, the familiar pain, the familiar dynamic. Let's try to win the battle we lost as a child. Maybe if I just prove I'm good enough, this time she'll choose me. He isn't drawn to her because she is exciting. He is drawn to her because she feels like home, a home that was a battlefield. Now let's flip the mirror. Let's talk about the woman who is drawn to men who hurt her, men who ignore her, men who treat her like an option. Perhaps she grew up with a father who was emotionally absent, or a charismatic narcissist who is impossible to please. Love, in her childhood, was not a safe harbor. It was a prize to be earned through performance and self-abandonment. So now, as an adult, her nervous system is programmed to equate love with struggle and anxiety. A man who is kind, consistent, and available feels boring, unfamiliar. His peace feels like a lack of passion. But the man who is distant, who withholds affection, who makes her feel like she has to constantly win his love, he feels magnetic. Her psyche says, there it is, the battle I know how to fight. This time, I'll win the approval my father never gave me. She's not in love with him. She's in love with the hope of rewriting her past. This is the chaos where love turns into a battlefield. You don't attract what you want with your mind. You attract what you carry inside without knowing it. If you still hold old wounds, they will speak louder than your words, louder than your values, louder than your logic. Attraction isn't always a sign of true fit. Sometimes it's a warning, a sign your mind is trying to finish an old, painful story instead of starting a new and healthy one. So what is the solution? Do we give up on love? Do we fear attraction forever? No. Jung didn't say this to scare you away from relationships. He said it because real love cannot exist without awareness. The solution is not to reject desire, but to become an investigator of your own desires. Stop assuming that strong attraction means true connection. Instead, look closer at the people who pull you in and ask the hard questions. What from my past do they remind me of? Who in my childhood gave me this same mix of excitement and fear? Do I feel calm and safe with them, or just hooked on the chaos they bring? Am I being myself, or just playing the role they want? And ask, what part of me is choosing this? The healthy adult, or the hurt child still chasing the love it never got? Until you face that truth, you'll keep waking up in the same story, only with a different face beside you. Jung believed the path to real love begins with individuation. This means facing your shadow, your wounds, and your projections. Then, when you love, it's a choice, not a craving. You're no longer searching for rescue in someone's arms. You're sharing your wholeness. Love becomes real when you stop trying to fix the past and start living in the present. That's when attraction shifts from chaos to clarity. You stop chasing people who echo your pain and start feeling drawn to those who reflect your healing. And here is what is terrifyingly beautiful about that. Those people, the healthy ones, they won't make your heart race in panic. They won't keep you up at night wondering if you're enough. They will feel calm, grounded, maybe even a little boring at first, because your nervous system is so used to the storm. Peace feels unfamiliar, but give it time, because peace isn't boring. It is foreign only until you make it your home. So the next time your heart races around someone, ask yourself, is this excitement, or is this fear in disguise? Is this chemistry, or is this trauma? Because real love doesn't always look like fire. Sometimes it looks like stillness, like safety, like truth, and that is the love Jung wanted us to find. Not the one shaped by fantasy or lust or trauma, but the love born from the integration of the self. The love that doesn't trap you, but frees you. This is the essence of the first part. The darkness is not in the other person. It's in you. It's in what you project, what you chase, and what you run from. Sexual attraction can be holy, but only when you see the demon behind the curtain. Only when you ask, is this love? Or am I trying to finish an unfinished story? You think you're in control? Bet you're choosing who to flirt with, who to date, who to chase. But what if every move you make in your love life isn't really made by you? Carl Jung warned that the unconscious mind is always active. And the most dangerous part is, you don't even know when it's choosing for you. Let me give you a real story. There was a man, highly successful, emotionally intelligent, respected by everyone. But every time he fell in love, it was with a woman who emotionally rejected him. One woman left him for someone else. Another ghosted him after intense intimacy. Another mocked him when he showed vulnerability. Different women, same story. Now, logically, he knew these women were not right for him. He even warned his friends, she's not healthy for me. But he kept going back. Why? Because his unconscious wasn't trying to find love. It was trying to resolve pain. You see, this man grew up with a distant, cold mother. A woman who didn't show affection, who made him feel invisible. So now, as an adult, his psyche is constantly seeking that same feeling, but hoping to fix it this time. He's not chasing women. He's chasing his mother's ghost. This is how sexual attraction becomes a psychological loop. You're not addicted to the person. You're addicted to the wound they represent, to the hope of finally winning, finally healing. And that's the trap Jung tried to warn us about. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces in the human psyche. It's not just about pleasure. It's tied to identity, safety, power, validation. And when that energy mixes with your deepest emotional pain, it becomes magnetic, explosive, but also dangerous. So before you fall in love with them, you must fall in love with the parts of you that are still screaming. Listen to them, heal them, and then, and only then, choose love. Not out of desperation, but out of wholeness. That is how you escape the darkest truth of sexual attraction. not by rejecting desire, but by understanding its voice. Where love reigns, there is no will to power. And where the will to power is paramount, there love is lacking. Carl Jung. The darkness is not in the other person. It is in you. It is in what you project, what you chase, and what you run from. You think you are in control? That you are choosing who to date, who to chase. But what if every move you make in your love life isn't really made by you? Carl Jung warned that the unconscious mind is always active. And the most dangerous part is, you don't even know when it's choosing for you. Remember, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you haven't healed. Make that healing your power. The more familiar the wound feels, the more intense the desire becomes. You call it a spark, but it's really a scream from your past. This is why you must become conscious of it. And the moment you do, the spell breaks. Because if your desire is coming from a place of lack, it will always seek to fill a hole. And that hole will never be filled by another person, only by you. If this video made you rethink your entire relationship history, if it made you uncomfortable in the best way, then this knowledge was meant for you. We are not just building a channel, we are building emotional revolutions. If you have ever loved someone who represented your past pain, tell us in the comments how you broke the cycle. Your story could be the key for someone else. And if you are ready to stop being a puppet of your past and start choosing from a place of wholeness, then make your declaration. Go to the comments and write, "I am not my wound. It is a declaration of your freedom, a commitment to conscious love." Subscribe to the Thinker's Codex. The healing begins now.